let's bring Joel Klatt into the conversation. Hi, Joel. Good morning. Sorry about that. It was a weird night last night. Did you see that guy wearing the Dump It Here 61 shirt catch the 61st home run?
I didn't see it. I saw highlights of it, obviously, but I wasn't watching live. That is pretty awesome, though. I mean, like, especially because it says Dump It Here, right? Like, it's a great nickname, and it's just like, come on, that's incredible.
What's the best nickname you have heard in your life? For everyone that you've played with, worked with, been around, what is the – because my favorite was always Craig Ironhead Hayward. Not that I was around him, but just always –
that's a good one.
He's one of my favorite players. Do you have a favorite nickname from your time?
I'm bad at this. My recall is not great. It's just all the head injuries, which doesn't shock you, I'm sure, Salk. But I was there for the origin of Hollywood Brown, which so like that's always the one that I love, and it's because it was a mistake to start with, because like the boards were like maybe sloppy, and Marquise Brown makes a catch, and this is before he had like really done anything. It was a game against Kansas State, and it was a nondescript like little out route on third down in like the second quarter, and our former spotter points down, but he points at the city where he's from and not the name, so it was announced just like Hollywood with the catch. And then during the commercial, I was asked like, hey, did I call him Hollywood? And I was like, yeah, like you did. And he kind of goes like this, and he nods, and then he says, Hollywood sounds better. And the next catch he made, he goes, Hollywood. And I was just like, you betcha, man.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. That's great.
Yeah. So
does he embrace it?
Oh, yeah. So later in the year, we go into Oklahoma, and by this point, we had called like the Oklahoma State-Oklahoma game where Hollywood and Baker go off, right? And it's just like fireworks. It's the old Big 12. Look at you. You got your Oklahoma State half zip on right now.
Yeah.
Look, it's bedlam. It's just like, pew, 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 pew. Just fireworks. And we went in later that year, and so Gus had called him Hollywood. Where is this? Who is this kid? Where does he come from? All this. It's legendary. And so we go in, and Hollywood beelines it for us in the facility. And he opens up his jacket, and he's got a chain that says Hollywood. And I'm like, yes, this is incredible. So he dove totally in.
That's awesome. So good. Speaking of Baker Mayfield, we got to see him complete 88% of his passes for 340 yards. We got to watch Sam Darnold complete 82% of his passes for 340-something yards. First time in NFL history, Joel, two quarterbacks playing against each other were that productive. We've talked about Sam with you the last couple weeks. We can throw Baker into this conversation as well. How are they doing this? How at this stage of their career in their late 20s, having this, once again, this kind of production, this kind of, frankly, dominance right now in the league?
I mean, it's shocking. You and I played the position back in the day. I remember when 70% was unheard of. You remember those days? And granted, it's a little bit different now because the advent, and this was really, in the 80s when the 49ers really dove heavily into the West Coast system, and the advent of the short passing game being a complement or in some cases replacing the run game, and so there's no doubt that the air yards per completion are down from what it used to be, but it's the level of precision, and the level of detail that goes on to do that. It's hard to do that in 7-on-7. It's hard to do that in routes on air, to be quite frank with you, if you're my ability or lack thereof to do something like that. I think it also speaks to these two guys pouring into their craft, and you can start to play like that when the offense becomes a part of you. Like, for example, guys, none of us think about driving a car, right? It's just a part of us. You stop, you put your blinker on. You're not cognizantly like, okay, I've got to put my blinker on now and do all that. And the level of play that those two guys showed, it's all reaction and it's just oozing out of them. It's just a part of them operating those offenses. And I think that the timing that they played with it was exquisite. The plays that they made, you've got to have like ridiculous competitive character to just like not be denied. But man, it was fun to watch. I got to tell you, and without a dog in the fight, I'm just sitting there watching this beautiful competition of quarterback play. And unfortunately, for you guys at least, when I'm watching that, I'm thinking to myself, like, I know Baker enough. Like, he's not going to be denied here. Like, when Baker gets a whiff, it's like, okay, this guy's going to find a way to win the football game. And ultimately, they did.
Baker kind of strikes me as fun Darnold. Like, he's just Darnold with like a little bit more personality, a little bit more ability to run around, a little bit more aura, whatever that thing is.
Well, no, don't the kids call it Riz now? Isn't it Riz?
They're past that. Yeah, that's a few years old now. They've already moved past that.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we'll keep you up to date. Don't worry.
So we're just going back to the Rick James aura.
Yeah,
okay.
It's all up to aura now.
All right. That's fine.
But what are we
That's
watching?
Only 2 decades old. How would you describe yourself, Salk? I'm not going to get antagonistic. It's not going to be the first episode all over again.
Low aura.
But what would you describe yourself?
Low aura. Combative at times. Very stubborn. Yeah. Dislikable.
Elite.
Yeah. Very much an elitist. Very much a contrarian. Yeah. Yeah. I got a few, but also, usually right. Really smart. Yeah, I mean, like all those things kind of come together right at the same time. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. You really gave me a good opportunity. This is like therapy session.
You bet.
What do you think we're watching with Darnold? Is this a star turn? Is this like, hey, they've got their guy and he's going to be a quarterback now moving forward?
I hope so for you guys. I think so. It seems like a great fit. And now all of a sudden you're getting more out of the offense than what you've had really over the last, would you call it decade or maybe plus, where there at least is that gear where you can go get into that game and feel like, okay, we've got something that we can lean on. I firmly believe, like, if he continues to play like that, then this is a team that can absolutely, or should even maybe win that division. In the NFC West. I think that they're good enough to do that. I can't wait to see Emmanwori back and like really healthy, because in my brief conversations with Mike McDonald, he's been so excited to get him back, and he feels like he's going to be such a key piece to what they can do from a hybrid perspective. So the key in football now, really at both levels, college and the NFL, and we've seen it on the offensive side for a number of years. It's like a real key piece are these like hybrid style H-back tight ends that can get you into big personnel groups, but also split out and threaten the defense. And so you can sit in one personnel group and the defense has to pick or choose. Are we going to get big or are we going to get small? And what you're starting to see now is then the inverse of that is now the defense trying to find these hybrid players that allow them to be much more multiple from a defensive schematic standpoint with the same personnel on the field, rather than having to match nickel or go dime and then get big and having to substitute all the time. And I think that a guy like Emmanwori is that type of Swiss Army knife hybrid style player that allows the defense to be more multiple. So I know Mike's excited to get him healthy and healthier and more entrenched in the lineup.
Kind of a deep question here, Joel, and you can run with it. You got a little bit of time, and I do want to talk a little more playoff baseball.
Well, I don't want Salk to get upset, Brock. He thinks I talk too much.
Never.
So.
No, not at all. He loves you. You love him.
I'm still blown away by the fact that you played college quarterback, were drafted into Major League Baseball into their draft, and are a +3 handicap. You're a freak.
Yes.
Like, you're a legitimate.
So don't work out with him. You saw me work out.
I've heard the story. Did you play basketball too? Let me guess. You could dunk at like 6'1", no problem.
I could dunk, not obviously anymore.
Yeah,
but I did play basketball all the way through.
Yeah.
My claim to fame was I was a great free throw shooter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're a little point guard, a little Mark Price, right? A little Mark Price point guard, hit the free throws at the end. I got one last guess about your life. You have, I'm willing to bet, incredible balance. Like you're never knocked off your feet. You always, like a cat, you always land on 2 feet.
Well, obviously.
Yep.
You got them all figured out.
Yep,
Salky.
I do.
Good.
I know Joel to a T. I know.
Okay.
I know exactly who we're dealing with now.
So I'm looking
Deep
at
question.
college football the last 5 years in particular, Joel, and I'm looking at so many guys who in their second turn, like Belichick going from Cleveland to New England, right? Different coach. And I'm looking at Bo Nix, and I'm looking at Michael Penix. And this year, it's the same thing in college football. Our buddy down, Carson Beck down in Miami, and you go on and on with these guys, and we're seeing it. So I'm trying to understand, like, why. And I think to some degree, Sam and Baker, and we're seeing in the NFL that second or maybe even third or fourth stop, right, is the place that it finally clicks. Why are we seeing this so much in today's college football? To take the portal out of it and take the money out of it, just that the guys find themselves and become such difference makers the second or third time around.
It's a great question. I think that there's a lot of different factors. I'll land on two. The first is the individual standpoint. We're all better once we go through things and we know ourselves a lot more. So, learning through reps or even failure, there was no way I was going to succeed to the level, the little level I did playing football at Colorado if I wouldn't have failed at baseball prior. So learning that and growing through that and maturing through that, I think that that's a really vital piece. There's a humbling that takes place. You get to learn lessons and then put that into practice in your next place. And that clean start allows you to have success. And then the other part of this is once you know more about yourself, in particular as a player, you can make a much better, more informed decision about where you're going to go and the fit that you're going to put yourself into. Maybe less so in the NFL, obviously, because it's just about opportunity. But in college football, when you have, the open ability to just choose in the transfer portal, and you can sit there and say, what offense is going to fit me the best? What position is going to offer me the most success? So you learn yourself for a couple of years. Maybe it doesn't go well, and then you can put yourself in the best possible situation. I think Dante Moore did that at Oregon. This is his second stop after starting, what was it, Brock, 6 games for UCLA as a true freshman, I want to say. Yep. He's obviously playing really well. We saw that with Penix. And we continue to see that, down the road. Now, there also are, and I don't think it's exclusive to those players, because we are also seeing guys that are really flourishing at their original school, like Ty Simpson and CJ Carr at Notre Dame. And these guys are playing really good football. So I think it has to do with the maturity of the individual, growing through mistakes, and then also the more knowledge you have about yourself and the whole process, you're going to put yourself in a better position to succeed. And all of those things are I think, why it's trending in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, the word that jumps out to me there as you talk through that is fit. Whether it's choosing the right fit or coaches over time realizing what the right fit is for you.
Yeah, like Sam's a great fit
Darnold
with Seattle right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like he fits a lot better. And there are certain organizations that are going to allow guys to have more success than others. It's like you can't go to the Browns. It's like Dylan Gabriel right now is just auditioning for the rest of the league. That's all he's doing.
And then Shadour's going to get his time, though, right?
Is he? You can't give that answer and get another chance. Like,
oh, you didn't like the mime?
Yeah.
It really, it is. I want to root for Shador. I really do. Like I do too. There's a huge part of me that wants to root for him, but I can't defend.
Here's the thing: is Salk, he's a good player.
So why is he doing? Is this his dad that's messed with him? Like, why is he like that?
No. I mean, that's beyond
all right.
A question that I can answer. The problem is like, if this doesn't work out, what team takes what they know about him and they say like, oh yeah, like we definitely want that in our building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a level of stress that you don't need. and it's not backed up by enough talent and enough guarantee that it's going to succeed on the field to make it worth it, right? It was one thing when Cam would do some crazy things, and you're like, yeah, all right, whatever. He's Cam Newton. He's unbelievably talented. Let's see if we can make it work. Shador may be talented, but he's not in that stratosphere. So how can you take a chance on it?
I don't know. I hope it works out for him. Like I said, I've met him several times and chatted with him several times. He's a good kid and a good player, and I root for him, and I root for him hard. You know, when I see things like that, though, it's like, man, I just don't think that that's offering him the ability to succeed, you know, because again, it's just putting up more barriers and question marks rather than answers.
Playoff baseball is fill in the blank.
Electric. I love playoff baseball. It's the absolute best. I mean, obviously, that you can't beat a Saturday in the fall. You know, I think the NFL is very corporate. It's hard for me to really get into the NFL until the postseason because it's very corporate. But college football is like so organic and tribal, and that's exactly what then playoff baseball becomes. And I love the element of like every single pitch, there's an insane amount of urgency, and there's so much going on. And I love to see guys like, can they or can they not handle the pressure? Because it's a more individual skill-based sport. It's a little bit like the Ryder Cup in that respect. It's like, well, which individuals can handle this and which individuals can't?
Along those lines, we and it's sort of shifting back to football, but Brock and I have long held these debates about, you know, quarterback wins as a stat and whether or not people believe in it or not. Without necessarily answering that question, how do you feel about the difference between the first 58 or so minutes of a football game, especially in the NFL, and then the final minute or two where quarterback gets the ball with a chance to win the game, he needs a field goal, he's got time, whatever the scenario may be? How do you weigh the importance of those moments versus the first 58, 59 minutes?
I'm not going to disparage the question. It's a good question. Can I let me add to it though, because to me, it's not just the timing of what's going on the clock. It's actually like way bigger than that, because it has to do for me with base down versus situational specialty play. And that happens the entire game. Okay, so you can parse out guys, and here's the equivalent of in baseball. Are you hitting meaningless home runs, or are you getting meaningful, important hits?
Yep.
Right. So if you're 85% on first and second down and base down between the 40s or between the 30s, I don't really care. Now that's helpful. I'm not saying it's not helpful. Every hit is helpful. Every completion is helpful. But what are you as a quarterback when you have to throw it? You know, so it's third and obvious. You know, what are you there? When it's backed up, how effective are you getting a couple of first downs? When you're in the red area, how effective are you in tight window throws, creating touchdowns and not just field goals? And then that bleeds into the timing situation. What are you in the last 2 minutes of each half? What are you in the last 2 minutes of the game? Can you operate those systems? Because to me, that's where the great quarterbacks separate themselves versus the guys that are just like, you know, good but not great. And we constantly talk about this, and it goes into the debate of like, well, is he elite or not? And some people will be like, well, of course he's elite. He threw this many touchdowns and it's this completion percentage, or he's won this amount of games. But it's like, okay, the difference comes in those specialty situations. What do you do when the moment is the brightest? And that situation, I was just adding to the situation. If you don't play well in the last 2 minutes of each half, you're not a very good quarterback, period.
So how do I look at, I mean, we only have a minute or two left here, but then it brings me back to Sam Darnold, who's been, as we've talked about, tremendous through the first 5 games with the Seahawks. But in those 3 big moments late in games, he's 1-2 with a pick and a fumble and lost those 2 games really because of those moments. Are they entirely his fault? No. I mean, obviously a guy gets pushed back into him and he's got a helmet that the ball glances off. Like, they're kind of weird plays, but isn't that what you need in order to be that, as you just said, elite guy and not just somebody who's good? And then you start digging into what the future looks like for the position in Seattle.
Yeah, and I would also echo that was similar. If you take the season last year as a game microcosm, like he struggled at the end in the last 2 minutes of the season, if you will, for Minnesota. And that's something that he's got to take the next step. And he's got to become a great player in those moments, because it's not always going to be clean. That's the thing. It's like you can say, oh, there was someone that was pushed back into his lap. Great. Like that happens all the time. There was someone in Eli Manning's lap when he threw it to David Tyree. Like it's just the nature of the beast. And you have to find a way to make the plays necessary to win the football game when you're in a position to do that. That's his next step, to be like a really elite player in the NFL. He's got to take that step in those situations.
So it's situational superiority. It is what Joel had at the free throw line.
Yeah.
It is what, Joel has.
Preternatural calmness. Yes.
Just, maybe not on the first tee when he's trying to qualify for the U.S. Open.
That was rougher. That was harder.
That was a little rougher.
Yeah.
It was the second tee. Although, to my credit, man,
my credit,
I blistered that ball.
Yeah.
And gosh.
It happens. It happens to the best of us, even as a +3.
It was
an Aaron Judge home run off the foul pole.
Fairway.
Yeah.
We don't. We didn't have time to talk about today, Brock, was Geno. We didn't get any Geno Smith time.
Oh, Geno Smith?
Is Geno done? Is this the end?
We don't have time.
I will save it for next week.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
All right, Joel. Thank you. Good stuff as always. Thank you. Where are you this weekend? What do you got this weekend?
Ohio State at Illinois.
Oh, that's cool.
That's a good one right there. That's a little tasty.
Back to Champaign, baby. Let's go.
Well, it's good to see in the non-corporate world of college football that you'll be doing another Ohio State game. That's nice to hear.
Wow.
Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it. That's just a quick little sucker punch on the way out.
Yeah,
there you go.
No, that's all right.
Just a little quick.
All good.
There goes Joel Klatt. All right.
Yep.
Thank you, Joel. He'll be back next Wednesday at 8:30 as well.
There he goes. Might not come back.
Who knows?